screen. Can you please get the PDF in full screen? We're getting this feedback from attendees also. Thank you.
Sure. All right. Okay, it's better now. So now, having spoken about why you need to attend IMTC 2012, so let me just give a brief introduction about what is enterprise content management. Before even we understand what is enterprise content management, I want to put these two caveats, which are very important. So even for newcomers for ECM, so ECM does not equal to a document management system. And also at the same time, ECM does not equal to a product or a technology. So then what is ECM? Let's just take even before we understand what is ECM, let's try to understand what is enterprise content management we are talking about here. And also even what is a content actually, here in the context of this we are talking. I hope you are able to see my screen transition. Okay. So what is the content here? So what is the content here we're talking? Let's start with what is content management. Even before we understand what is ECM as an industry, ECM as ECM practitioners, let's understand what is the content. Content management is really about all the different kind of documents within an organization that supports your business. These documents can include standard office documents, which are typically such as Microsoft Word. It can also include documents such as paper documents that come in the email, which can be scanned and digitized, email documents, video, audio, computer generated output, and even electronic forms, which we call e-forms. So the important thing is that this is the content that generally supports the business. It helps support the business transactions and makes the business more effective. So this content supports internal teams and others that do business with a company. So you can think, you want to think about a content as a supporting information to business transactions, just as data is information that also supports those applications. So what we end up with this is data and content that supports business applications. If you look at this, I mean, it's not myth, it is reality. Vast majority of content is unstructured. If you look at the statistics and the surveys conducted across, 80% of the enterprise content is unstructured. It could be in the form of free text. It could be a free text, could be your call center notes, your customer comments, your case management notes. There could be some documents which are unstructured documents entirely. Examples could be your office documents, your scanned images, PDFs, web pages, audio and video. You might also have some kind of a semi-structured documents, typically like HTML, meta tags, knowledge base articles, e-forms, XML, and other documents. Right? So it's true that more than 80% of your enterprise data is unstructured. Now, what that brings? It brings in challenges to the organizations to deal with this unstructured content. So as you know that unstructured data is growing fast in breadth and volume, becoming hard to find what actually you need. Compliance, regulatory issues, costing businesses and corporations across the world. You might have heard a lot of stories that corporations have been shut down overnight because they could not able to comply to these regulatory and statutory requirements. You should leverage this content to optimize business process. So content should be active. So when we say active, it should be active content, not just static, sitting in your hard disk and occupying some disk space. So you should actually able to leverage and derive the value from the content. So organizations need a robust, efficient, scalable, and smart content management systems to tackle these challenges. So again, ECM is not just about addressing these challenges. Reducing the cost through storage or mitigating risk. It's not just about it. It should actually accelerate and create opportunities. It should create new business opportunities by gaining insights from within this huge content you already have. For example, it's not about just store claims, but leverage the claim patterns and information contained within the claims to improve a certain medical treatment, right? How you use content analytics to understand patterns of customer churn, understand the voice sentiment, etc. So it's not just about you're servicing a customer and just making a note of their complaint. You can actually understand the patterns from it. You can understand the customer churn and also the sentiment of the customer. So it could result into a new revenue opportunity for your business. Similarly, if you take an example in retail banking, you can change the loan procedures dynamically to account for risk fluctuations. It need not be always a standard process or what we follow. You can actually adapt more dynamism in your workflow process, in your case management. Similarly, if I take an example in legal governance, you can have an appropriate strategy for decommissioning business records at an appropriate time in their life cycle. So not keeping everything forever, right? So that the analogy has changed. So earlier people used to think that keeping everything is always good, but no, you need to move out of that paradigm and look at a defensible disposal so that you can decommission most of your data at an appropriate time in the life cycle. So if you see, ECM marketplace is emerging, evolving. It has come from traditional content management, where we saw point products like image management for all your imaging requirements, a document management for all your document management capabilities. Like that you have file archiving systems, email archiving, and you have search and analytics systems, all in separate products. So this is what we call as a traditional content management. But now if you see, smarter models are emerging, what we call smarter content management. In this, content is a shared service. So use one common content management repository to manage your images, your documents, compound documents, emails, rich media, video, etc. All in one extensible platform rather than applications with a lot of internal investment. Move away from the modality where keep everything, right? Move towards a smarter policy-based information lifecycle governance, what we call it as a defensible disposal. Also move away from simple search processes, towards having a federated search capability both inside and outside your firewalls, plus analytics to derive insight from these. So these are the smarter models emerging in this industry. If you look at IBM's portfolio, so IBM provides industry's broadest and richest portfolio of capabilities to address all the needs and challenges we have seen so far in ECM space. We will see all these 5 capabilities listed here. What we usually call it as 5 waves of ECM, or you can call it them as the pillars of IBM ECM. Of course, there will be focused and deep dive sessions on each of these topics in the upcoming IMTC conference sessions, where we will hear from individual SMEs from each area. But I really would like to touch upon this briefly to give you an idea, to give you a breadth of these technologies so that you will be able to follow future sessions on this topic. If you look at document imaging and capture, right? It's all about capturing and managing the content wherever it exists. Social content management. So derived from document management and collaborative uses of content. We see office productivity applications like MS Office, Lotus, all are integrated to ECM system now. Similarly, advanced case management. So content related business process being automated with ECM software to optimize each case outcome, improve the business results, improve customer service, reduce cycle times, and reduce costs, importantly. If you look at information lifecycle governance, what we call it as ILG in short, it's a key use case often driven by records management, legal, or even IT department seeking to reduce total cost of ownership by archiving of the data. Or it could be an e-discovery where gathering of all the relevant data and review capabilities to respond to legal matters within specified timelines. Now, information access and content analytics. Using search and analytics to glean insight, to improve business results, and to optimize your processes. So let me touch upon each area just briefly. What are the challenges in each of this area, what we look, and what are the solutions you can see from IBM ECM portfolio. So document imaging and capture, right? Typically we call this as a transactional content management. If you look at IBM, far and away the market leader in addressing key document imaging and capture requirements that our customers have today. There is still an explosion of paper-related information in many businesses today. There is a huge value in digitizing and getting rid of physical storage requirements to reduce storage costs. You can extract the metadata from the scanned documents, bringing into context of the ECM system so that you can activate it, retrieve, run reports on, or even deliver insight, etc. So if you look at the solutions, document imaging and capture solutions, scanning has been around for dozens of years. It's not something new, but still tremendous growth around this area as organizations seeking distributed capture, right, mobile capture, and advanced metadata extraction to pull information out of physical records and to digitize them using OCR, ICR capabilities. As most of might be aware, IBM has made a strategic acquisition of DataCap in August 2010 to address the client requirements in this area. Especially we're talking about the advanced metadata extraction and distributed capture. So DataCap provides market-leading info extraction capabilities. Example, metadata extraction through rule runner service. Very intelligent way of extracting the metadata. Very scalable, powerful service that can be tailored in customized environments. Once again, once you scan, digitize, then you can store the extracted metadata and scanned image into FileNet repository. So FileNet provides you a robust and efficient document management capabilities where users typically can perform all the library operations in terms of version management, security, rendition, and publishing these documents. Again, they can be viewed by a FileNet Workplace XT application, right? So through XT, you can view the documents, you can modify the documents, you can annotate them through this FileNet viewer. So it supports almost 200 plus format types. Now, to orchestrate right from capture till delivery and viewing of these documents, so you have a capability of a business process, a workflow management system. So you can completely orchestrate your case flow through this BPM. So IBM has an offering called IBM Production Imaging Edition, which actually offers you this end-to-end capability, right from capturing the documents, storing them, preserving them, and then orchestrating the workflows till viewing the documents. What we call it as a IBM Production Imaging. In short, it is called PI, IBM PI. Okay. Now let's look at social content management challenges. So social content management, what it refers to? Usually it refers to the document management and collaboration services supporting business workers of all shapes and sizes. So organizations increasingly moving from a mode where small number of employees once access DCM capabilities towards majority of the workers are creating content that has to be managed in modern environments. So the lines are blurring between, the roles of authors and the roles of, publishers and viewers. So now in the social world, everybody is able to create the content and publish it. So your organization should be able to manage them in that context. So explosive growth in volume and breadth of the content being created, especially with the emergence of the social media and social business services. You see today everything has been discussed and talked about in wikis, blogs, and even chat scripts within an organization. Most important information, most decision-making questions and answers are dealt through this, same time environments. These are now seen as a common part of business environment. There is no formal approach. So if you are able to reach your colleague or any caseworker through email or through phone or through chat, so that is actually a business transaction. So you need to actually manage all these things as part of your business environment. So this brings in responsibility, rather I would say culpability to organizations that must now treat this content as part of a business record. Now, what are the solutions we look at here? So social content management solutions. So office document management, if you look, most of the business information commonly created and accessed is via productivity tools such as Office, Outlook, PowerPoint, Excel, Lotus Notes, Symphony, etc. So if you look at most of the time, the content is getting created through these office productivity applications. Now customers are looking for ability to directly engage with business through these office productivity tools they are familiar with. They really don't want to get out of this environment and try to log into some other system, some other content management system application and try to do these operations. They want to connect directly to those ECM systems directly out of the box, right? To an end user, it looks like just he's storing a file to a file system, but actually behind the scenes, it's checking in or checking out a document from an ECM environment. So that's the kind of seamless integration the business users and the community are expecting today. So your content management system should support these kind of integrations. Also, if you look at social business tools, connected with ECM shared services, like you have IBM Connections, it has the ability to directly access document library content that's stored in an ECM system, even without knowing the end user. This is also complemented by shared activities, bookmarking, blogs, wikis, and other social content. Also, if you look at CMIS, what we call Content Management Interoperability Specification, it's an open standard protocol that has been defined by IBM, EMC, and other as co-authors as part of an OASIS open standard effort. So ECM supports user experiences support by Web 2.0 UI technologies like iWidgets. So through widgets, you have the ability to directly invoke ECM managed content in the context of social content experience. You really don't need to code too much to achieve these results. You can actually pick and choose these widgets, wire them, and you will be able to achieve your outcome. Look at the content collaboration. It refers to collaborative tools such as SharePoint, Lotus Quicker, etc. Increasingly, organizations want to be able to use these collaboration environments, but have the content that's created and managed by them directly interacting with the repository of record in an ECM context. Now, let's look at advanced case management. So what are the advanced case management challenges? So before even we talk about advanced case management challenges, let's understand what is a case management here we're talking about, right? Most of the users might be aware of what is the case management, but you can say it as very simple as a content related process and workflow that we see across all industries. Typical examples could be loan origination in retail banking. It's a case management. Claims and policy management in insurance. There you do case management. Patient records, managing the patient records in healthcare. You see a case management. Invoicing processes, invoice processing in finance. It's also a case management, right? So let's just see what is in a case. Here when we talk about case management, what is in a case? At a very basic level, we all realize that a case requires a content, right? It could be in the form of documents, emails, or a correspondence through same time or chat. Also, a case requires a process, a workflows, steps, rules. And a case requires people because they are the ones who need to act and make decisions. So in summary, a case should contain the information, it should contain the correspondence, tasks, policies, rules, processes, people, events. So most importantly, all these things should be accessible, circulated, and managed in the context of the case. So that's what we call it as a case management. So to address these challenges, IBM has come up with a concept called advanced case management, which essentially combines your process, your content, your analytics, your business rules, and most importantly, the people, the case workers, to optimize the business outcomes for every given case. If you look at the capabilities, right, analytics will help the case workers to make the right decisions in case of fraudulent claims. Analytics will help detect patterns within or across the cases. Or it can simply optimize the overall case handling to optimize the case outcomes. Collaboration, right? Finding the right subject matter expert is often a very critical to make an ad hoc decision required to bring a case to an optimal closure. Processes. Case may follow static process that are prescribed for certain business situations, but many times they may also follow more dynamic paths based on changes to the information associated with the case. Right? If you look at the case as a case, there is a difference, right? If it is a static process, it typically your loan application processing or some kind of a origination or submit document submitting. But there are some applications where you are doing a fraud investigation or where you are doing a crime investigation. The process is not static. The case workers knows what they wanted to do as a next step. So they expect more dynamic paths to be defined. Again, they don't want to get involved into IT to achieve those results. So this case management gives a user experience in such a way that a business analyst user can easily create his solution, deploy his solution, and in fact run and execute his solution. So you don't need IT to make changes to the solution, right? So that's the kind of a sophistication, that's the kind of abstract what IBM Case Manager provides for in the case management area. So as I said, in the late 2010, IBM introduced a new product called IBM Case Manager, which really defines the best-in-class ACM solution, I would say, focusing on the three key areas of value for our customers. One is integrated user experience. The second, bringing in powerful analytic capabilities to optimize each case outcome. Third, increase the ease of use of solution design, rapid application designing using case builder. As I said, business users should be able to build the cases rather than IT. So let me move on to information lifecycle governance. So what are the typical challenges we see, right? So ILG, archiving collection of many different content sources, manual and rule-based classification. Very, very important if you are going to deal with multiple sources of information, right, in your enterprise. Second thing, records and retention management. So management of life cycle of the content and its ultimate disposition pattern and associated workflow. E-discovery collection and review. So it's mainly for legal matter management, e-discovery. Situations with potential legal culpability requires, collecting of business information. And also you should be able to smart culling to determine the risk posture, etc. Defensible disposition. The keep everything forever model has failed. As we saw that businesses and enterprise always used to think that keeping everything is always safer, right? All it requires is just keep on adding your storage space in your data centers. But actually it has failed. It has driven up the costs and governance risks, by storing this unnecessary content forever. So what actually organizations are looking today is a defensible disposition. Is about having a holistic approach towards records management, right? I don't want to keep everything forever. At the same time, I don't want to dispose everything. So coming out with a smarter, way of disposition. That's what we call defensible disposition. So for legal matter management and archive to ensure we have defensible process around how we are eliminating the information, not just about, eliminating the information for sake of elimination. So organizations without this are subject to increase in cost, storage and retrieval, and also risk, importantly. If I have to tell you an example, if I have to quote an example, average cost of a discovery motion is about 3 million per case in the US. Majority of the info was needlessly retained and organizations not even executing against their own file plans. So what we have to address these challenges? So IBM brings in with a integrated ILG portfolio. For smart archiving, you have a content collector, what we call IBM content collector, to collect the files, emails, collaborative content, even application archives directly into our content repositories. For records and retention management, we have one of the world's only robust federated records management solutions, able to provide file plan management for IBM House as well as third-party content. It's not just only about the information which is there within IBM, but even it integrates with the third-party content. So we have a discovery collection, case assessment, and smart culling to assess risk posture, prepare for meet and conference events, etc. If you look at governance and disposal, a holistic policy-based approach on how to dispose of content through a global file plan that is well governed and defensible. In late 2010 again, IBM recognized one of the industry's most recognized leaders in legal information governance and legal hold management which is called PSS at last. So the PSS combined with IBM, now we have the industry's most comprehensive solution for information lifecycle governance. So let me take a pause here for a minute, and I really want to check if any questions at this point. Yes, I appreciate if you can take up any questions in the end, but I'd really like to understand if the audience are getting the pulse of what they are looking for, and if there is any questions which are very important, critical to be answered at this time so that they can follow the next content. Okay, good. So let's continue. Now let's look at the content analytic challenges. Right? Information retrieval today is an important need, not met by many organizations. It's difficult for end users to find right content when it's needed. So decisions are getting made on wrong information. So if you don't have the right information at the right time with the right people, right, you are making wrong decisions. Very difficult to distill insight from the content. Other than search and find, if we know the right keywords, very difficult to identify patterns around things like fraud or understand the customer churn, etc., that are hidden within the unstructured enterprise content. Right? If you look at many business scenarios, most of the content, as we understand, is unstructured. Most of the customer sentiment is voiced out in the unstructured way of, they're writing an email. In that email, they express their, dissatisfaction or satisfaction or grievance, concern, whatever, right? So that may not be readily, leveraged by most of your existing applications, right? So IBM ECM today delivers one of the industry's most robust solutions for federated search plus rich content analytics. Complement of traditional search indexes and content with what we technically call annotators and visualization supports business analyst investigations of information. What I mean by annotators? So many of you might have heard annotators. So what actually is annotators? So it's a UEMA based. When I say UEMA, it is unstructured information management architecture, right? So these are all UEMA based, standards based annotators applied to understand the language, right? To understand the language, the sentence structure, identify the nouns and verbs. Example, owner or reports, check engine, flash, after refueling, right? So you should be able to understand this. IBM ECM today provides you the visualization tools. You can go through massive volumes of content. You can cull through a huge amount of data to identify patterns and what we can expect, do unexpected insights. Example could be, help me understand patterns of customer churn. I really want to understand the customer churn. Who is the customer who is most likely going to drop off from my business or from my network if it is a telco company, right? So you should be able to understand the churn based on the customer service what you have provided or based on the correspondence what you have with the customer. When looking at millions of entries of all your customer service compliance. So what we are looking at solutions in this area in the content analytics, right? So I think everybody might have heard or read in the newspaper or internet everywhere that in February 2011, it's a very public example of US Jeopardy program. Everybody might have heard what is Jeopardy program, In order to play that game, you have to understand human language with all its nuances and inferences in order to even understand the question being asked. It's not just about finding an answer for the question. Even to understand the question, you need to go through all these things to understand what question is being asked. So everyone have heard IBM Watson, right? So it has defeated the top, the winners of the Jeopardy show. How? So the Watson uses the lexicon analysis and natural language process of IBM Content Analytics, what we call ICA, to understand what it is that being asked first. Then combine that with the deep QA capability, question answer capability, to match that question against a knowledge base that's been collected and enhanced over the time. So these collective technologies are market leading and differentiating not only IBM, but IBM's clients who can place this capability into their business to provide long-term competitive differentiation. And also the recent example, what you might hear at IMTC is the recent work within the IBM labs, what we call IBM Content and Predictive Analytics for Healthcare, ICPA in short form. What actually this does? So this is a solution built to actually predict the readmission rate and the occurrences of congestive heart failure. The patients who are having this congestive heart failures, so this system can predict it, and also for healthcare providers, it gives the complete care management needs to be taken care for each individual patient depending upon their conditions, so that as a hospitals and healthcare providers, they can reduce their patient's readmission rate. Right? So this is for the predicting hospital readmissions for patients, and also create individual care plans for each patient with early intervention for all various diseases. Diseases could be like pneumonia and other diseases. So this ICPA is the latest offering from IBM, wherein we could able to apply the Watson technology to healthcare. Similarly, path-breaking and ground-breaking work solutions are getting built to leverage this powerful analytic technology in the financial world, especially to prevent financial crimes, to do the anti, and also this terror, black money, money racketing, everything. So what we are seeing is this is a powerful platform which is now built. Now we are applying this platform to each and every business. So the recent one what we launched is for healthcare. So you will hear a very deep dive session, a very good session on this healthcare of Watson for healthcare in one of the upcoming session in IMTC conference. So as you know that industry solutions focus, right? Most important aspect of our IBM ECM portfolio is delivering solutions to meet our client specific needs, right? It's not just, it's like one saying, different strokes for different folks, right? Each customer, each client will have its own specific need. So you should be able to meet and deliver his needs. So applying ECM to vertical applications in banking, healthcare, insurance, retail, right, pharma, there are many different use cases and business processes in which content management, lifecycle governance, social content management, etc. They provide incredible value and return on investment. The key hallmark of the strength as an ECM portfolio provider is our ecosystem, right? Ecosystem of business partners who have provided hundreds of codified, both verticalized and horizontal solutions around IBM ECM portfolio. So IBM has a strategic partnership with many business partners and many vendors. So if you hear about the recent acquisitions which IBM made, like Kuram, Demantech, Mtoris, so all these acquisitions are nothing but a business partners associated with IBM for decades who has matured solutions around the IBM ECM portfolio. Now, eventually IBM felt that it brings in more value if there is a more tighter. So that is where most of these companies, organizations, small, big, what IBM acquired are not just someone went and picked randomly in the market. They have been IBM business partners for over decades. Right? Ultimately, these partners have helped our clients every day to achieve their business goals. So if you look at an ECM portfolio, we have around 250 plus business partner solutions spanning across 18 unique industries. So through the strengths of this ECM portfolio, as well as the ecosystem I talked about, the partners, right? IBM is delivering a comprehensive portfolio, ECM portfolio to the market. So IBM has captured market share leadership for more than 5 years straight in running. Thousands of organizations of all shapes and size, irrespective of whether you are a large enterprise, small and medium businesses, right? They are using the ECM software. So putting ECM into action for achieving incredible business results. So the data says, if you look at almost top 30 banks worldwide, if you look, 24 out of the top 30 are using IBM ECM software. And no wonder 15 out of top 16 telcos are using IBM ECM software. The pioneering example, the world leading example is Bharti Airtel. I think it's not just an India or Asia Pacific story, it's a global story. The Bharti, how it embraced the IBM as a partner for its success. Also, 19 out of top 23 insurance companies worldwide have the ECM footprint in them. So there are many examples to quote from different industry verticals where you see there's a footprint of IBM ECM and customers are relying on IBM ECM for their continuous success. So now we understood IBM ECM portfolio is the broadest and richest portfolio in market today. It allows very common use cases to be achieved in a very efficient, optimized manner. That is very important. So approach towards a use case, whether it is a large customer or small customer, need not be always a big bang. It could be a very simple, but it should be a very efficient and optimized way. So it provides an extensible portfolio capable of scaling with our customer needs. So every enterprise, every business, every customer need not go a full ECM strategy, adoption of a complete, but they can keep the strategy. They can go by point, and wherein they can build on top of it. So because IBM ECM is a completely SOA based architecture wherein you can start small, start addressing your needs, immediate needs, then you can build on capabilities just by integrating. Because all the entire portfolio comes with an integrated portfolio rather than you spending effort, monies, and time in integrating them. Right? So it should meet the customer needs, volume, breadth, and range of use cases. As I said, use cases could be any range. It includes the transactional content management, social content management, process optimization, governance capabilities, and information access and analytic capabilities. To find the right information at the right time and glean insight to optimize each business result. Right? So this brings in, I would like to conclude, I hope